Hey everyone, and welcome to today's explainer. We're diving straight into the absolute lifeblood of literally any successful event, mastering your event capital. We've built this detailed explainer video to unpack exactly how structured financial management takes an event from a super stressful gamble and turns it into a totally predictable success. Let's get right into it. So the ultimate test of your event's survival really just comes down to one central question. How do you control your budget, your inflow, and your outflow? Now, I know it sounds simple, right? But control is absolutely the operative word here. We're not just talking about passively tracking money on a spreadsheet, because let's be real, if you don't control these three pillars, they are inevitably going to control you. To answer that, let's jump right into our first core section, the dynamics of fiscal flow. I want you to think of fiscal flow not as some static, boring spreadsheet, but as the continuous, active management of a budget through its inflow, outflow, and cost control stages. It's honestly a living, breathing financial ecosystem. Think of it kind of like a massive, complex plumbing system. Water, or in our case, capital, needs constant monitoring to make sure the pressure is just right. You want the current moving safely and predictably so you don't end up bursting any pipes along the way. And mastering this whole thing happens in three distinct sequential steps. Number 1, managing your budget. Number 2, controlling the inflow and outflow. And number 3, learning fundamental cost control. It's a super deliberate progression. First, you build the container. Well, actually, scratch that. It's more like you build the pool. Then you monitor the water level as it moves in and out. And finally, you learn exactly how to plug any leaks before the money just drains out. Which brings us right to step 1, managing your event budget. The source material makes one thing abundantly clear right from the jump. As it says, participants are going to learn how to manage a budget. Now, this isn't just some preliminary box you check off. It is the absolute bedrock of the entire shebang. If you don't have a carefully constructed budget acting as your framework, trying to track your inflow and outflow is, honestly, it's basically like trying to measure water without a bucket. It's just gonna slip right through your fingers. Okay, so once that solid foundation is finally set, we shift gears to the actual movement of the capital. Section 2, inflow versus outflow. So this creates a really natural dichotomy. On one side, you have your inflow. That's the money actually entering your ecosystem. Think, ticket sales, big sponsorships, vendor fees. Then, on the totally opposing side, you have your outflow, rapidly draining it. Venue deposits, massive catering bills, all those marketing costs. And the ultimate goal here is to actively direct these two completely opposing forces. You really don't want them canceling each other out, or no way, worse yet, leaving your entire event deeply in the red. Maintaining a really careful balance between that inflow and outflow is just absolutely critical. Imagine your event capital is just a single pie. If your outflow starts, eating up way more than its fair share, the event simply collapses. The math just doesn't work. These two forces are intrinsically linked, and maintaining the correct proportion between them is pretty much the core job of any successful event manager. And remember, the target isn't just to casually forecast the money and hope for the best. Nope, you need to exert total control over it. You've got to aggressively stimulate that inflow, while at the exact same time acting as a downright ruthless gatekeeper for the outflow. You're basically constantly putting up a shield against unnecessary expenses, having to decide in real time on the fly whether a cost is absolutely essential to the event's success. Which brings us to our final piece of the puzzle. Section 3, fundamentals of cost control. The source material specifically emphasizes that then participants learn the fundamentals of cost control. And you know what? That word then is highly deliberate. It's only after you're in the trenches, actively wrestling with that inflow and outflow, that you're truly ready to apply this ultimate mechanism. Because this is the mechanism that keeps your event's financial flow alive, contained, and actually viable. Think of cost control as your essential vault. Because, let's face it, event capital can spiral entirely away from you in an absolute instant. A miscalculated vendor fee over here, an unexpected overtime venue charge over there, it adds up fast. Cost control is that structured, tactical discipline that locks down your established budget against all those surprise attacks. It ensures your outflows never ever breach those protective walls that we built back in step 1. So we've detailed a lot in this explainer video. Budgeting, managing that tricky inflow and outflow, and applying super strict cost controls. But it leaves us with one pretty sobering question to ponder. Without these fundamentals, where does your event's flow actually go? Well, without active, intentional management, it literally just drains away into nothing. So take these fiscal dynamics, apply them directly to your very next project, and just watch how it transforms your event from a stressful guessing game into an absolute masterclass in financial strategy. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.